A very good afternoon to you. It is 1 o'clock in Nairobi, Kenya. Welcome to the weekend at 1. My name is Najma Ismael. Let us take a look at the highlights this hour. Pope Francis sends a message of peace and reconciliation ahead of his tour to Kenya and Uganda. And the opposition Okoa Kenya campaign goes to Busia. Liberia confirms fresh Ebola cases. It's down to just days before Kenya welcomes Pope Francis for a 3-day visit, and the Pope has a special message for Kenyans and also for Ugandans who also host him on his African tour.
Dear friends, as I prepare to visit Kenya and Uganda later this month, I send a word of greeting and friendship to you and your families. I look forward to this time we will have together. I'm coming as a minister of the gospel, to proclaim the love of Jesus Christ and his message of reconciliation, forgiveness and peace. My visit is meant to confirm the Catholic community in its worship of God and its witness to the gospel, which teaches the dignity of every man and woman and commands us to open our hearts to others, especially to poor and those in need. At the same time, I wish to encounter all the people of Kenya and Uganda and to offer everyone a word of encouragement. We are living at a time when religious believers and persons of goodwill everywhere are called to foster mutual understanding and respect, and to support each other as members of our one human family. For all us are God's children. A highlight of my visit will be my meetings with young people who are your greatest resource and our most promising hope for a future of solidarity, peace and progress. I know that many people are working hard to prepare for my visit, and I thank them. I ask everyone to pray that my stay in Kenya and Uganda will be a source of hope and encouragement to all. Upon you and your families, I invoke God's blessing of joy and
Moving on to Busia now, Kenya's opposition is sustaining their Okoa Kenya campaigns with a call for support from Kenyans in a weekend rally in Busia County. The leaders claimed their referendum bill will liberate the country from corruption. They also spoke during the Teso Cultural Festival at Kaliwa Primary in Teso South.
able to have the opportunity to see what by the chairman, whom I'm going to show you later before I finish.
Downgraded the tradition of respect for public resources. Today you can go abroad, borrow 250 billion shillings, and even before that money arrives here, it has disappeared into thin air. And so we are a nation in crisis, and perhaps the best way to save this nation is to go back to our roots, to go back to our cultural heritage. And that's why watu wa Busia tumesema mwanzo wa safari hii ni kupitia Okoa Kenya.
Ili tukipiga kura mwaka 2017, kitu cha kwanza tangulizi ni hiyo payslip kusema Jubilee ulininyima pesa zangu, nawe nitakunyima kura ya.
Bill ya Okoa Kenya inakuja. Tunataka kusikia ya kwamba Busia mumepiga kura kwa kauli moja mundu humundu, kwamba tunaenda kuleta Okoa Kenya na kuboresha maisha yenu.
Kenya nataka iokolewe, tuweze kumaliza mambo ya ukabila, tuweze kumaliza wizi ya uchaguzi, tuweze vile vile kuona kwamba pesa inakuja ya kutosha hapa mashinani. Ndio sababu tumesema tutatoa kutoka 15 ifike 45. Mnakubali? Nataka mwambie hawa ma-MCAs wenu, hiyo mswada ikija hapa ipite asubuhi, na yule MC ambaye atapinga ataongoza nyinyi katika debe siku ile mwaka wa 2017. Sasa
now, a row is brewing in Lamu County over the proposed coal-fired power plant at Manda Bay in Hindi area. A section of leaders led by County Women Representative Shakila Abdallah have objected to the plan on grounds that it will adversely affect the lives of the people. The leaders were speaking in Mombasa.
Supporting that project. We are saying no to coal projects because it's a poisonous project. We're not going to accept it. It can move to any other place, not in Lamu. Lamu is a heritage site, 6th World Heritage Site. Lamu is, our economy of Lamu depends on the tourism. When this thing comes, it will spoil everything. It will even spoil the value of Lamu. No more investors would come to invest in Lamu because the value will go down because of the pollution and the destroy which will take place and the damages which will take place because of that project.
Tuwapinga vikali sana kupewa kwa Amu Power ardhi ambayo yasemekana ni ardhi ya serikali, yani government land, bila ya kujali maslaha ya wananchi wa Lamu na bila ya kujali maslahi ya wale watu ambao wameikalia ardhi hii kwa miaka mingi na kuitumia katika upande wa ukulima na kazi zao za uchumi nyingine.
The entire adoption of the concept paper never at any one stage involved the public, which is mandatorily a requirement.
Intelligence and Kenya Wildlife Service officers have impounded an administration police vehicle carrying sandalwood worth 20 million shillings. Now, the AP vehicle is said to be registered under the Baringo County East Pokot Sub-County. It was impounded at Kiamuni Estate, the outskirts of Nakuru town, this morning at around 3 a.m. 4 suspects, including an AP officer, were arrested when they were caught offloading the sandalwood. 3 other suspects are reported to have escaped.
This is an endangered plant species. It's a protected plant species because of its status. This plant, people use it to make perfumes, and basically it is found within the Baringo area, mainly a natural plant. And harvesting of this plant is illegal, and those who are involved, I think it is a crime, and the law is going to take its course. We're going to make the relevant procedures to take those people to the necessary authorities for them to be prosecuted relating with this plant species.
Now, 2 women, one from Gisambai, Vihiga County, and another from Erfurt, Germany. Very different worlds, but they have one thing in common. Both are 30, blind and single mothers. And this is a story of how they raise their daughters. Take a look.
Don't look away. When 30-year-old Maren Venderholm opens her eyes, this is what she sees: dark blood images. She wasn't born this way. She had a cataract at birth and was diagnosed with glaucoma at the age of 4. Since then, her vision slowly deteriorated. Today, only 2 to 5% of it is left. Life has taught her to feel that she doesn't need preferential treatment. She has mastered the traffic. Her hearing is heightened. Maren is trained as a piano tuner, but getting a job has been difficult. She survives on unemployment benefits. Her world revolves around her 2 daughters, Lana and Nora. Having low vision doesn't make her any less of a mother. Her daughters adore her, even though her low vision compromises her ability to help them in their schoolwork, to get around and do the things that most parents do.
There was a time when she tripped over a table. We have to be careful because when she's walking, she cannot estimate the distance between objects. But it's not a problem that she's blind. You don't realize it that much.
Maren may be single. She has no family in Erfurt, Germany, but the German state that gives her monthly disability allowance for the blind cares for her. Susan Papp, a family care worker, has been helping the family for 3 years now. She affirms that Maren is a remarkable mother. Maren has to apply for the support annually, and she says she gets nervous with the spontaneous Child Protective Services visits. The first time we met her, she was preparing to meet the care workers. She never wants her daughters ever taken away from her. We later learned that her application was successful. Back home, when it comes to blindness and eye care, the numbers and the statistics are quite daunting. Most of them are actually estimates, and it is hard to account for every blind person and person with low vision in the country. Gisambai Vihiga is a scenic mosaic of rock after rock. 30-year-old Maureen Lidenya is the third born of 8 adult children. Her 2 brothers are blind. She lost her sight at 1 after a bout of severe migraines. Maureen says she learned how to sew at Kibose School for the Blind. It was there that she met the father of her only daughter, Vanessa Ngaira. At 5, Vanessa is afraid of what she cannot see. Her mother says that after she was born, doctors told her that she had cancer of the eye, but she could not afford treatment. Nothing can be done for her visual pathway, and raising her daughter is difficult for her.
Vanessa, na matumaini tu mweze kunisaidia kwa kupeleka shule na pia asipitie maisha kama yemi nimepitia ya haya.
But let us not ignore eye ailments. I would like to urge parents that when they notice any eye ailments in the children, whether it be a red eye or just something abnormal looking in the eye, that they should seek treatment immediately.
In Africa and the developing world, most cases of blindness, especially under 5, are directly linked to problems of a social-economic tire. In the developed world, most of them are as a result of diseases of the optic nerve and visual pathways, such as the retina, cornea, and the white of the eye. But blindness is blindness. Unlike Maureen cannot fully rely on the state, but on the kindness of her family and sometimes well wishes. Their paths may never cross, even though they both want the same thing: to raise their daughters. Dorcas Wangira, KTN News.
Now, 3 new cases of Ebola have been confirmed in Liberia less than 3 months after the country was declared free of the virus. The World Health Organization has said. Now, the 3 patients include a 10-year-old boy. Everyone who has the symptoms have been isolated And the spokesman Margaret Harris said Liberia has seen more than 10,000 Ebola cases and more than 4,000 deaths. The country's health ministry said 6 of the boys' relatives and other high-risk contacts have been taken to an Ebola treatment unit now in Pennsylvania. Now on Thursday night, before the new cases emerged, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf delivered a speech praising the resilience of Liberians in overcoming the epidemic.
All kinds. I say, so now I call me back. That's me. I know Ebuka again. I said, I know Siglo attack me. I said, they are not out, nobody now. I said, Spasi help me. I said, let call for me 117. Let they can't take me. I said, because I know my neighbor and now I'm around come on near me.
Now, renowned for the delicious fish, particularly in Kenya, Lake Victoria, however, abounds with myths and taboos linked to fishing. Here's our reporter Victor Ogale with this interesting tale.
Lake Victoria, the world's second largest freshwater lake that stretches to neighboring Tanzania and Uganda with a total surface area of 68,800 square kilometers. Since time immemorial, the water body has been a source of livelihood to many. Fishing is a major economic activity around the lake. Fishermen have already returned to the shores with their night's catch and are busy cashing in from their sweat. While many residents of Kisumu City await the lake's produce, very few are aware of the beliefs and practices surrounding fishing and fishermen. In the Luo tradition, the art of fishing is considered not favorable for women. Jared Otieno has been a fisherman in Lake Victoria for 20 years. Together with his colleague Joseph Mimo, they stake out into the deep waters.
Siku, ninaenda baroni, pana kulala bibi yako, nalala peke yake. Nikisirani, nalala bibi yako pamoja, nikisirani baridi sana.
Kama kisirani inamaanisha nini?
Boti atanguka chini kabisa.
Mama ingia kwa boat, naenda barini, hiyo kisirani. Samaki, naenda barini, samaki hakuna kwa net.
The Luo community adores and respects fish and fishing, and any issue that touches on fish is considered sacred, similar to other western islets such as Lango, Acholi, Atola, and Aluru are found in neighboring Uganda and communities from Sudan and Eastern Congo. At the shores of the lake, women continue with the daily routine of preparing fish before it heads out to the market. They give us their take on the fact that they are considered bad omen during fishing.
Sisi tuko digital, hatuangalii hiyo. Tena mambo ya maombi ukiweka ati mwanamke haendi, hiyo tunaona kama si sawa. Sisi tunaona ni sawa tu. Hata kama wewe ni mwanamke, wewe ni mwanaume, kazi ni kazi.
Hiyo nafikiri ilikuwa tu ni ile tamaduni ambayo imepitwa na wakati. Kwa sababu kama sasa hivi hata kuna wamama ambao wanaenda mpaka ndani, ingawaje sio wengi, lakini kama kukaa kwa bota haina shida, kukutana na mwanaume kama anaenda kazi hauna shida, kwa sababu kazi bahari imekuwa kama kazi zingine.
Women are viewed as bad luck. It is a belief in my community. If you meet a woman in the morning, it is bad luck. We are not allowed to go to the lake, not at all, because some of us are dirty.
There is a twist, however, to the issue of women and the lake. The issue of women sticking out in the same water vessel as men has for long remained as a taboo in the expansive Luo Nyanza. Boat owners name these vessels of trade after their dead female relatives, as this, they believe, brings good luck when fishing. Jared Otieno doubles up as a boat maker and a boat painter at Dunga Beach, Kisumu County. Having been an integral part in this fishing community, he confirms that boat naming is mainly done using names of the departed.
Wengine wanasema kama mama alikuwa anakupenda, alikuwa nakupenda na kulisha vizuri. Sasa labda andika kitu kama hiyo kwa jina yake, labda inaweza leta mazuri.
These names you see here, maybe 80% are people who depend on the other hand. they go for witchcraft. Boats must be cleaned by a witch doctor. For you to get a good production, you can even get a piece of cloth. Yeah, the dead person. You say, okay, I name this boat with the belief yule aliyekufa atanisaidia nifanikiwe kuvua samaki huko ndani. If you do impact assessment on any project you do, you get that people are suffering, because doing that means you have to sacrifice. Sacrificing, you sacrifice with human beings, they die. Ukitengeza boti yako with that witchcraft, you have to sacrifice someone. So, for example, I can just pinpoint, even if you ask our mothers here, which boat has killed so many people and what is his production capacity in this place. We have one is here, this yellow one.
Such cultural practices, including the use of a suicide rope for success in the lake, are just but among the many fishing practices that have over the years continued to be practiced by many communities along the shores of Lake Victoria. Victor Ogale, KTN News, Kisumu County.
We move on to sports now. Barcelona moved 6 points clear at the top of the La Liga as Luis Suarez scored twice in an overall over Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. Now, it was the first home defeat in 23 league games for Real and also an early blow to their hopes of challenging Barcelona for the title this season.
Biggest match in all club football descended on the Santiago Bernabeu as the 171st playing of El Clasico in La Liga polarized the Iberian Peninsula and the plus 400 million glued to their screens throughout the planet. With Lionel Messi starting from the bench after a 2-month injury layoff, his colleagues on field continued the good work in his absence.
Suarez onside! Luis Suarez fires Barcelona ahead in the Clasico!
Known for its mix of passion and volatility, hostilities were rekindled early on. Cristiano Ronaldo and Dani Alves clashing in centre field, with the Portuguese cautioned. Barcelona continued to boss matters where it counted the most and doubled their advantage shortly before the break. The Neymar-Suarez combo continued to run rings around the Real Madrid defence and almost produced a third before half-time. Following the interval, Marcelo got on his bike but couldn't park his attempt in the back of the net. Having conceded a total of 21 goals in previous visits at the Madrid Cathedral, Claudio Bravo pulled off several applause-worthy stops when called upon. 3 championship points ahead of their eternal rivals going into the match, Andres Iniesta ensured there'd be more than that come the end of 90 minutes. Barca was swarming and could have been 4 up to the good had Suarez's effort found itself between the sticks. To add insult to injury, on came Messi, with Barca seemingly riding into the sunset. The atomic flea almost had an immediate impact, but his attempt was deflected wide. The expensively assembled Galacticos were having a torrid evening at the office. Even the ever-dependable Ronaldo unable to get past Bravo when one-on-one. Minutes later, however, the net again was disturbed, but predictably at the other end of the pitch.
It's Suarez for 4! Luis Suarez makes it 3 Clasico goals in 3 Clasico appearances.
Things went from bad to worse for Rafa Benitez and his charges as substitute Isco saw red for a cynical foul on Neymar. A shutout 4-0 result to Barcelona in Madrid as pressure mounts in the capital.
Moving on to the EPL, Liverpool picked up their first major win under Jurgen Klopp after thrashing Manchester City 4-1 at the Etihad Stadium. In another match, Arsenal suffered a 2-1 defeat at the hands of West Brom.
Faced arguably the biggest test of his fledgling tenure as Liverpool boss when he took his side to the Etihad to take on the mighty Manchester City. Leicester's win over Newcastle earlier on Saturday saw the Foxes unseat the Sky Blues at the top of the Barclays Premier League, but a win for City would see them return to the summit. City's bid to go top was dealt a setback as early as the 7th minute. Roberto Firmino's attempted cutback was put through his own nets by Eliakim Mangala, 1-0 Liverpool. Firmino was tearing the City defence to shreds. 23 minutes in, the Brazilian found space on the right before teeing up his compatriot Felipe Coutinho.
Rolled it in for Coutinho! 2-0 Liverpool!
City just couldn't cope with the Liverpool onslaught.
Emre Can, Coutinho, onside, Firmino, free! This is astonishing!
The red-hot Reds could have had 4. That man Firmino again, rolling a shot agonizingly past the post. 3-0 down, City needed something before half-time to give themselves a chance at a comeback. Up stepped Sergio Aguero, returning after 7 games out with an absolute cracker. Firmino was back at it in the second half, forcing a fine save from Joe Hart with an hour on the clock. Liverpool nearly handed City away back into the match on a silver platter. A sloppy back pass was pounced upon by Raheem Sterling, whose pass found Aguero. The Argentine took aim, but Simon Mignolet pulled off a top-class save. Substitute Christian Benteke could have put the game beyond any doubt when he was played clean through, but the Belgian did that in his finish, which allowed Hart to make a save. From the resulting corner, though, Liverpool did manage to wrap up the points, and in some style, too.
Benteke came down for Scott. Wow! He has lashed it home, and Liverpool have won it in style.
Just over a decade had passed since West Brom last beat Arsenal at the Hawthorns in league action when the two sides met on Saturday afternoon. The Gunners' notorious injury issues flared up early on as Francis Coquelin was replaced by Mikel Arteta following a strong challenge by the Frenchman. Despite the Baggies putting numbers behind the ball, the game was brought to life by an Olivier Giroud header in the 28th minute, the striker's 4th league goal in 5 matches. Salvaging a draw for Arsenal last time out, Kieran Gibbs missed an opportunity to double the visitors' goal tally soon after the opener. Having lost all 3 of their last home matches this season, the hosts gave their supporters something to shout about thanks to a well-worked set-piece with James Morrison on the end of it. 5 minutes later, the hosts were ahead in fortuitous circumstance. Shortly after the break, Mesut Ozil's attempt pinged off the upright before Arteta went from first-half substitute to being replaced in the second half with an injury of his own. Arsenal kept attacking, however, and only valiant rearguard defending from West Brom kept the Londoners at bay. When the Londoners did break through, poor finishing let them down. At the other end, Tony Pulis' men looked to make the 3-point safe, but were denied by the woodwork with the follow-up deemed offside. In the final 10 minutes of the match, Arsenal were given a lifeline with a penalty.
Jamie Vardy was the name on everybody's lips before the start of this fixture, as football fans around the world watched in anticipation to see if he would equal Ruud van Nistelrooy's record of scoring in 10 consecutive Premier League games as Newcastle hosted Leicester City on Saturday afternoon. Both sides played safe early on, but Newcastle were knocking on the door. Chancel Mbemba made himself a nuisance to the Leicester defence, but Wes Morgan did enough to keep him from scoring. In the 41st minute, Vardy came close to putting his side ahead, but he was denied by Rob Elliott in goals. But the striker made no mistake during added time as he equalled Van Nistelrooy's record.
Games are as tight as this. He's often the one to separate them. This is Jamie Vardy! History maker!
Well, thank you very much for watching The Weekend at 1. More news will be coming your way at the top of the hour.